So I've been out here on the courts for like the past hour practicing the drop serve. Now, the drop serve is something that's pretty interesting because up until this point, the drop serve was never really used competitively. None of the pros really adopted this serve. It was really only designed for players at the recreational level just to get the ball over and get the rally started. However, there's a lot of controversy about serves right now, especially at the pro division. They're trying to de-weaponize the serve, where in the PPA, if you're a pro, you're not allowed to toss and serve the ball anymore. You're only allowed to have your palm face down below the waist and then drop and serve out of your hand. This rule only applies to the pros, but a lot of players are getting confused whether this is the rules for everyone. It is only for the pros, but I have a hunch that eventually they're going to make the drop serve the only legal serve for everyone. I don't know this for a fact. There's so much confusion for serves going on. People don't know whether you're allowed to have the paddle head above the wrist or you're serving above your belly button. There's just so much confusion, and it only makes sense to put everything at a level playing ground and just make the drop serve the only legal serve. So I'm trying to get ahead of the curve, and I'm trying to get a really good drop serve down, and I'm going to kind of take you along with me on what I'm working on. Okay, so I have this camera set up so that you can see a close-up slow-mo of what I'm working on, and I also have that camera set up all the way over there. That is actually my phone on a swing stick. If you follow me on Instagram, you know I've been absolutely obsessed with this app and swing stick. It gives a really, really cool angle. So I'm gonna kind of use that so you can see the depth of my serves. One thing to kind of preface this is, even though I'm using the drop serve, I still will be applying what I learned with Jiao Mei about using a loose grip, loose wrist, and really exploding with the hips in a forward momentum. But also, I was watching some of Dekel Bar's serves, and Dekel has one of the absolute most monstrous serves on the PPA Tour. But he actually, I slow-moed some of his videos, and he actually has his elbows kind of tucked in, and he almost is kind of like falling into his serves. And he's like 6'6", and he absolutely obliterates the ball. So I'm gonna be applying a little bit of that into the drop serve. The second thing is, I have those targets set up there as red being my ideal depth. If I could get anything beyond those yellow targets, I'm gonna be pretty happy, but red is really where I'm trying to get the most consistency on. So 3 things I'm working on is depth, consistency, power, and spin. Okay, that's 4, I can't count. All right, so here we go. Let's try a few here. So something that I noticed when I was slow-moing Dekel's serves is he uses his right foot to kick off, and he uses that, and it's almost like he's like kicking airborne there. And that really gives him a lot of power through his hip to rotate forward. So that's something I'm going to try for these drop serves. Another thing that I want to work on here is I want to work on being able to choose targets when I serve. For example, if I'm playing against someone who maybe I know has a weaker backhand, I would want to try to exploit that. So I'm going to try to alternate between cross court and center. That way, when I'm in a game and I notice something, I can actually choose and pick on a weakness. All right, so let's go cross court. And let's go center. And then cross court again. And center. So something that I'm also thinking about too as I'm practicing these drop serves is Zane Navratil says that you should try to hit at least 1 out of every serve out. And I actually really like that because his argument is if you're hitting 1 out of every 10 serves out, you're actually hitting 9 out of every 10 serves really, really close to the baseline, which is what you want. I'm really trying to push that line and get my serves consistently deep as possible. The last thing that I want, and the most catastrophic thing that could happen, is if I serve the ball into the net. I do not want to do that. All right, let's go cross court. I like that one. Let's go center. Woo! I don't know if that was in, but that was kind of cool. And let's go center. Okay. I'm gonna shift over so I can serve on the other side. Okay, so I'm pretty much working on the same thing here. I'm gonna alternate between cross court and center. Let's go cross court first. So that ball was really shallow. That was like barely on that yellow target. I'm gonna try to take a little bit of pace off, and I'm gonna give the ball a little bit more height, and that way that ball is gonna land a little bit deeper. Let's go cross. Okay, I think I could push that line a little bit more. Okay, let's try to go center. If I'm gonna go center, I might scooch a little bit more towards the center line. That way my shot is just straight ahead. Let's try a few more here. Yeah, I like that. If I'm trying to hit center, like say my opponent's backhand was in the middle, I might try to sneak a little bit more towards here, and that way I could just rip one down the line, and it might be harder for their backhand. And if I'm gonna try to hit really, really sharp angle cross, I'm probably gonna stand closer to this left side here. One other thing that I'm thinking about here is I've noticed that I'm actually able to serve harder and better if I focus on the smoothness of my serve. That might sound kind of weird, but I'll kind of show you an example. Like if I'm like thinking about serving really hard and I'm just gonna like muscle it through, it might look something like this, right? So sometimes that'll work, but I've noticed that sometimes that could be pretty inconsistent. So when I focus on the smoothness of the serve, I actually relax my whole body, make my arms really noodly, and then I'm able to utilize the kinetic chain. And that's something I've been really learning about, is the kinetic chain being I'm really going legs into hip, shoulders. The last thing that comes through is my arm, wrist, and then paddle. So that's the kinetic chain there, is instead of just muscling through in one movement like this, I'm treating my body like a whip by exploding off of my legs, then my hip, and then my arm, loose wrist, loose grip, then my paddle kind of comes through like that. So that's something that I'm really trying to work on myself. And it's really weird when I just focus on that simple fundamental, my serves end up being harder, even though I'm actually utilizing less effort and less strength. So I'm gonna try to give you guys another angle here. 4, 3. All right, so this angle, I wanna show you guys my footing and my starting position. This is pretty important, especially for the drop serve. So with the drop serve, I'm not doing a completely open stance, meaning both my feet are facing forward. And I'm not going completely closed either, meaning my toes are facing away from the court now. I'm actually gonna go for kind of like a hybrid, like a semi-closed stance like this here. The reason being, I still want my body facing towards my target, but I want my back foot behind me so that I can kick off of it and rotate forward. So I have my left foot forward here and then my back foot here, and I'm utilizing this back foot to generate that first initial spark of gunpowder to my serve. I noticed this is what Dekel does, is he has his foot right here and then he kicks and explodes And he's 6'6", and he's still doing this, and he is exploding, and his right foot actually like straight up comes off of the ground. So I'll do a few serves so you can kind of see what that looks like. So again, I'm really trying to work on that kinetic chain. Legs first, then hip, shoulders, arms, and then your wrist and paddle. Like that was pretty effortless, and that was way harder than I would be able to serve if I try to serve hard.
My power can be changed.
Alright guys, my battery's about to die, so I'm going to cut the video off here. I hope you enjoyed this video. Definitely try the drop serve. I really like it, and I'm going to be using this in my games from now on, just to prepare for the worst. But thanks for watching guys. I'll see you guys in the next one.